A question that I often get is, why don't more people prepare for postpartum? Why don't we know the importance of it in advance? And why do most moms end up having this feeling of, no one told me, or the feeling of being totally blindsided once postpartum comes along? And the thing that I really kind of resonate with as I reflect on those questions is that postpartum is a world, a planet that is totally different than anywhere else that we have been before. And even for a mom of multiple who has kids already, each postpartum is like going to this new place in space, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that is so different than all parts of life. When we're pregnant, the needs, the awareness that we have, the things that we know and see and can feel into are on this one other kind of planet. And to even try to look off through a telescope to see the other planet, at most we're seeing a star in the sky. And so the distance can feel so great, and there is also so much uncertainty and so much unknown. Like, how am I gonna feel? How is the birth gonna go? What kind of recovery process am I gonna have? Is the baby gonna come early or late? Am I gonna have a unexpected C-section? Is my mother-in-law gonna drive me crazy? Am I actually going to do the thing that I'm told to do? What's gonna happen with this or that? There's so much uncertainty. It can feel extremely overwhelming. And that's on top of all the uncertainty that we already have around the birth experience. And so it can be so easy just to wanna kind of push that aside or do what I've seen so many couples that I've worked with do, which is say, oh, we'll just figure it out when we get there. Once we land on the planet, then we'll gather resources and figure out what we need based on the circumstances of that planet that day. And that is a strategy that is possible. It's just one that can leave a lot of things hanging and can leave a lot of unexpected stress. So thinking about that another way, one of my teachers, she uses this analogy of when we're pregnant and we're looking ahead at birth, kind of on the other, if we're like in a boat on the water, we know that there's an island in the distance, but there's all this fog in between, so we can't quite see it. And that feeling of like, okay, just taking one step at a time, one paddle, focus on what we can see. It really is, it's natural and it's normal and it's not irresponsible, but it is something that can have consequences that are unexpected. So next time that you're thinking about postpartum and you have that feeling of like, oh, I'll read that when I get there, or I'll figure it out when I get there, take a minute and really invite yourself to step into the questioning of like, what's coming up that makes me want to push this off? Or what resources do I need so I can feel prepared? The number one thing that I recommend is getting connected with a postpartum doula or a coach like myself, someone who can really be a support and a guide and show you where you might not be looking at things and offer resources or reframes that can make that transition so much smoother and more easeful. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my newsletter and to my YouTube channel. I have tons of resources for this topic and so much more related to women's health and the perinatal period. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a beautiful day ahead.